Welcome to You Only Live Twice Special Edition DVD. Please activate your navigation system now.
Greetings, Bond fans, and welcome back to the D-WIZZLE podcast. This is episode 38. If you guys are new to my channel, welcome. This is the channel talking about all the things in the world of movies in podcast form. So if you guys love talking about film and enjoy my content, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. We're on the road to 100 subscribers, so please hit that bell to be notified on future videos I'll be doing. But today we'll be continuing on in the James Bond 007 franchise. We're talking about all 24 James Bond films leading up to No Time to Die, which is scheduled to come out this November. We've already talked about the first 4 installments of the Bond franchise: Dr. No, From Russia with Love, Goldfinger, and Thunderball. If you guys want to check those out, I'll leave a link in the description to my playlist called James Bond 007, and you can check out my thoughts on the previous 4 films. But today we'll be talking about the 5th installment of the James Bond franchise, You Only Live Twice. Let's get to it. Activate the gun barrel. Alright, You Only Live Twice. So this is the 5th installment of the James Bond franchise. It came out in 1967, and Sean Connery once again reprised his role as James Bond. So, when it comes to this series of Sean Connery movies, I've been lukewarm about them. The first 2 movies, Dr. No and From Russia with Love, I was underwhelmed with them. They had their moments here and there, but neither of them are movies that I like to revisit that much. And then we get to Goldfinger, and almost was a complete 180 of the first 2. I really enjoyed Goldfinger. I thought it was a very good Bond film. And then we get to Thunderball, and I thought it was just alright. You know, it was better than the first 2, but I did not think it was the quality of Goldfinger. So when it came to You Only Live Twice, I didn't really know what to expect with this one, because not a lot of franchises get this far, and when they do, the quality starts to decline. So I didn't really know what to expect. From what I hear from fans, there's a big divide with this film. There's one half of the fandom that really enjoy this one, and then the other half don't like it at all. But out of most of the Bond films, this is the one that people tend to talk about the most. Or it's one of the films that they talk about the most. So I was intrigued to see how this one was. I was willing to give it a chance because, at the end of the day, I'm still a Bond fan. I'm more of a casual Bond fan, but, a Bond fan nonetheless, and I really enjoy Sean Connery in this role, regardless if I think that the movie overall is not great. I can still enjoy Sean Connery as James Bond. I think he's, one of the best Bonds we have. While he may not be my favorite, but I can see that he helped make the role iconic, so I can always enjoy watching him. So after watching You Only Live Twice, it's a weird one with me, because while while I do think this movie has some problems, and it's yeah, it's out there when it comes to its plot. It's really, it's strange. It's a strange one with this one, because this movie goes for it. When it comes to its plot, it's over the top. It's kind of crazy in certain moments. I would say the over the topness of this movie, it kind of came around. I don't know. I find myself enjoying this movie. I liked it quite a bit. I can acknowledge this movie is not. I would, on a filmmaking standpoint and structure and script, I can't say this movie is good, but you know what? I had a good time with this movie. I enjoyed it. I liked it. Like I said, yeah, one of the things I do admire about this movie is that, it goes for it. Its plot is kind of insane. And I kind of like how insane the plot is. Like the movie literally starts with a giant like space shuttle eating another space pod. Like we're starting off with some over the top space stuff, and I'm like, there's literally a giant spaceship that just gobbles up a little space pod, and I'm like, wow, okay, we're starting this. And then right after that, we start with Bond, doing his thing, being in bed with a girl, and then all of a sudden he gets killed. And like that's how we start the movie. That's the pre-title sequence. We start with a freaking space station eating another space pod and Bond just getting killed. And then we get into the pre-title sequence. So that right there set the tone of what this movie was going to be. I will say start talking about the opening title sequence. I like the opening title sequence. I like the theme. I really like it. I think it's sung by Frank Sinatra's daughter. So yeah, I really enjoy the theme. I think it fits the tone of the movie. It's more of a. It's not as like fast. It's not as like triumphant as Goldfinger and Thunderball. It's more of a relaxed type theme, like From Russia with Love, and I actually like it. And I like the production on this song. It's like elegant, but it has like a touch of eeriness to it, just a slight touch. But I like the singing in it. It's very nice. So I really like the theme, and as far as the sequence, I think it's pretty cool. It's lava, and it has the Asian theme, because that's pretty much the theme of the movie. Because Bond's in Japan for most of the film, so I like that it has that Japanese theme for the title sequence. I thought that was pretty cool. I also like the score in this movie too. Once again, doing remixes of James Bond's theme and also mixing it with Japanese type music. I liked how they weaved it into the movie, and I also like they did different renditions of the main title theme, You Only Live Twice. I thought it sounded really good. This is probably my favorite score of the 5 movies I've seen. I thought it was really well done. I didn't feel there was anything awkwardly placed in the score. But yeah, as I was saying about this plot, it's just out there. So after Bond gets killed, he has the funeral by the lake, and then they take his body and send him underwater in a submarine, and then it turns out Bond's not dead, and like when they open up his like wrappings or whatever, he's in a full Navy suit and alive, with like permission to come aboard and granted. I'm like, oh, okay, so this is where this movie is going. This is very interesting. So yeah, I like that. It's being more unpredictable, or it tries to be more unpredictable with its plot. It's yeah, it's out there, and yeah, there's things I can nitpick about, story and plot conveniences and whatever. But it's like, I like how, like I said, I like how unpredictable it's being. To talk about M and Monty Penny. Once again, they were really good, and I actually like they had a change of scenery in this movie. They're not at their usual headquarters. They have their own facility in the submarine, and I thought that was pretty cool. One thing I want to say about Monty Penny. This is just a random thing, but I thought she looked good in this movie. I mean, not to say that she doesn't look good in the other films. Like, she was always beautiful, but there was something about the way she looked in this movie where I'm like, man, you looking fine. I don't know. Is it because of the navy uniform she was wearing? It looked good on her, or maybe it was the way her hair looked. But she was looking good in this movie. I liked it. But yeah, so plot, I guess, is revolved around Spectre again. So I was hoping we would get a little bit more about Spectre, because I feel like we scratched the surface up until this point, because they were teased from Doctor No and from Rush with Love and Thunderball. Yeah, it was a different person for Goldfinger. But yeah, they're pretty much been the main villains of this Bond series so far. So I'm like, I was hoping, in the fifth film we would get more, from, especially maybe we get more from the head person of Spectre, which we do in this movie. We'll talk about Blofeld later. So with this whole plan with Spectre, they're taking Russia's spacecrafts and I believe British spacecrafts to create like a nuclear crisis. Because I guess this is happening during the Cold War, so you got to have some influences with that. So I thought that was pretty interesting. It's definitely out there when it comes to plots, but it's I wouldn't say it makes. I wouldn't say like it's the most logical or grounded plot, but it makes sense to me. So, and when it comes to the Cold War stuff, it's not something I personally care about because it's not of my time. But I appreciate they were trying to, you know, incorporate some real life elements to this movie. So I was able to come around to it. What I also liked about this movie is the whole setting of Japan. I like that. I like one of the things that I like about the Bond series in general is the different settings of the world that we get to go to. The beautiful cities and all the just the different places that Bond gets to go to. In Japan, I really like the culture and stuff like that. The different things that go on in Japan. I like that a lot. When it came to his allies in Japan, we have Tiger Tanaka. I guess who's the head agent from Japan. I thought he was pretty solid. Not too much to say about him. We don't get to know him too much as a character, but he's the typical main agent person. Thought he was cool, and also his assistant Aki. I really liked her. I thought she was pretty cool. I know technically she's not the main Bond girl, but let's be honest, she is the main Bond girl. Like she pretty much is with Bond the most throughout the entire film, and they're trying to push the kissy, which I'll talk about in a second. But it's like, I'm sorry, to me, Aki is the main Bond girl of this movie, and I actually really liked her. I like the chemistry that she has with Bond. I think they work off each other pretty well, and she's really useful in the field. She's not a damsel in distress, and there are times where she ends up being smarter than Bond in certain moments, or she's able to get out of a situation to help Bond. So I really liked her. Well, okay, let's talk about Kissy. She's fine. She's fine. Like, she's literally there because Aki gets killed. Spoilers. So they had to find a replacement for her, and she's. I'm not feeling her. I mean, because we don't really spend too much time with her, to really get to know her as a character, I mean, she served a purpose. She's not bad, but it's just, I don't know. I just feel personally salty because I really liked Aki, and I wish they didn't kill her off. But Kissy's okay, but I don't consider her to be the main Bond girl, to be honest with you. Just Aki's more interesting to me. And then we have the main hench woman of Spectre, Helga. I thought she was pretty good. She reminded me in certain moments of the main hench woman from Thunderball. Well, because they both have red hair too, but she's not quite on the level of performance as her. Because the henchwoman from Thunderball, she went for her performance, and she stole the movie in certain moments. So I didn't think she was on that. I didn't think that Helga was on that level, but I still thought she was pretty good. But she's also not in the movie that much, and when she does encounter Bond, it's another one of those she just automatically gets hypnotized by Bond's charm, and I didn't really like that. Really, it just came out of nowhere, and especially because there's two times where she could have killed him instantly, but the first time they meet, it's she has him strapped up to a chair and threatening his life, and then out of nowhere she just starts kissing on him and stuff, and then lets him go, and then they have sex, and then Bond tries to persuade her to help him, to take him to the lair of Spectre, and she ends up kind of doing that. They're on a plane, and then she ends up trying to kill her on the plane, ejecting herself and trapping Bond in the plane so it can crash. I'm like, if this was your plan all along, why didn't you just slit his throat the first time? Why go through all the trouble of trapping him in a plane and hope to God he doesn't escape and get control of the plane before it crashes? If you wanted to just get the job done, you should have just slit his throat when you had him tied up and he was defenseless. So, I don't know. But other than that, she was fine. And I like that, after she failed to kill him, that when she went back to the Spectre lair, Blofeld was like, okay, you screwed up, so I'm going to feed you to my alligators or whatever. So I'm yeah, I like that there's consequences for Spectre's incompetence, because in the previous movies, I felt it's been run by some naive people. So I'm glad now they're putting their foot down on certain stuff like that. That stuff was annoying. Come on now. Can we be a little bit more competent in the field, please? Another character I guess we could mention real quick is Henderson, played by Charles Gray. Yeah, it's that guy from the Time Warp that's it's just a jump to the left. That guy. He was wasted in this movie. Nothing really to say. He gives Bond some information and then he dies. So I'm what's the point of casting him? Casting such a popular actor like that to just give some information and die. But not to worry, because he comes back in another Bond movie, which we'll get to in the near future. But yeah, not so much to say about Henderson. I don't understand why they casted him in this movie just for him to get killed. I don't know. I'll say overall, I like the action in this movie. I thought there was some very entertaining fight scenes in this film. There was a really cool car chase with Aki and Bond. And it was really cool that Aki, while she was driving, she sent for a helicopter to magnetize the car that was chasing them midway through the chase. And I thought that was really cool. I will say, like, the technology that Japan's agency uses in this movie, I thought it was pretty cool. They have a lot of cool gadgets, like almost to the level of the Q branch, but not quite. But I thought some of the technology that they use, I thought that was pretty cool. Even like their secret doors and hatches that they have at their layers, like, because it keeps coming up in the movie, like Bond keeps getting trapped in these secret doors and secret contraptions and stuff like that. So I thought it was pretty cool, and just seeing the different designs of their headquarters and stuff like that, I found it pretty unique. Like, they even found a way to turn James Bond, a 6-foot tall British gentleman, and turn him Japanese. Now, I'll be honest, when they actually put the prosthetics on him, like, it didn't really work that well. It may have a slight resemblance of an Asian, but even then, it's like, for them to even have the ability to change his appearance like that, it's pretty insane. It's pretty out there, but I kind of like it. I dig it. That's the craziest stuff I like about this movie. But yeah, so yeah, I like the overall chase sequences. I like the fights that he has. There's this really cool fight scene with Bond and the car driver. I thought that was cool. Like Bond literally throwing furniture at him, and the car driver trying to kill him with a sword and stuff like that. So I thought that was pretty cool. And then there was like the car chase led to Bond getting chased on foot on top of a building, getting chased by a bunch of rogue Spectre agents, and him just punching his way to escape. So I thought that was pretty cool. There was a really cool like far away shot while Bond was running on the roof with all those guys chasing after him. There was a really nice shot of the building overhead. It was a really cool shot to just show how many people were chasing after him and Bond just trying to punch his way out. I thought that was pretty cool. I also like the helicopter chase sequence. Q gives him like a built-in helicopter that he can just carry on like 4 suitcases. Like, each suitcase contains different pieces of the helicopter, and they can just like install it and snap it into place. Like, I thought that's one of the coolest gadgets that Q has given him so far. I thought that was really cool. I would like something like that, to have different pieces of a little helicopter that you can just install at any time. I thought that was really cool, and it's equipped with machine guns and missiles and flamethrowers. So I thought that overall helicopter chase sequence, I thought that was really, really cool. Another thing is that Tiger has like an army of ninjas in this film. I'm not kidding, an army of ninjas. I didn't think I would see that in a Bond film, but like, I thought that was really cool. Like, just seeing an army of ninjas, it's just insane. It's really cool. And they play a huge factor towards the end with the climax and the fight at the Spectre layer, which I'll talk about in a minute. One nitpick though, for an army of ninjas, they seem to make a lot of sound when they're training. Like, every time they're like hitting, every time they're using weapons, every time they're kicking, every time they're flipping, they're making a whole bunch of noise. Like, yeah, ooh, yeah. I'm like, you're supposed to be ninjas. You're supposed to be silent. I don't think you're supposed to be making a lot of noise like that. But, it's adrenaline pumping, so I can let it slide. And they don't make a whole bunch of noise towards the end. So, but that was just kind of jarring, because like all of them were just yelling like, yeah. I'm like, okay, Alright, I know y'all are fired up, but I'm like, okay, let's calm it down a little bit. Oh, I forgot about another henchman that Spectre had, Mr. Osato. Um, didn't really care for him that much, to be honest with you. He's just another weasel that doesn't get the job done trying to kill Bond. And, once again, he gets killed for failing, so not much to say about him. Okay, so let's talk about Blofeld in this movie. Now, a lot of you guys are waiting for me to talk about him. Played by Donald Pleasance. And not who I expected to be Blofeld. Especially because, to me, my favorite portrayals of Blofeld so far has been in From Russia with Love and Thunderball. I personally liked how mysterious he was, and we didn't really get, we got like a glimpse of how he is as a character, and like, I'll be honest, Donald Pleasance did not meet what I think Blofeld would look like or sound. Like, the moment he talked in this movie, I felt something was different. Like, his voice was not as deep and eerie as the previous movies. And I don't know. And then when they finally revealed his face, I'm like, oh, that's what you look like? Okay. I mean, even though he was in the shadows in the previous movies, I believed it looked like he had a full head of hair. From what I can make out when he was in the shadows, I didn't think he was bald. The scar on his eye, that's fine. I think it's kind of cool with his scar. But like, yeah, I didn't expect for him to be bald and his voice to magically get higher pitched. I don't know. Not to say Donald Pleasance's performance was bad. He actually was really good in this movie. One of the things I liked about his performance was like when he was revealed, like he would look dead at the camera, like with these like this unpleasant stare. Like I liked that, and when he was given his lines and stuff like that, just looking dead at the camera, there was something very uncomfortable and unnerving about it, and it worked. It helped to make him have like a somewhat of an intimidating presence, but like there's still that bit of disconnect because it doesn't feel like the same character. Like from what they were setting up in From Russia with Love and Thunderball, it made seem like he would be different. But I can accept this one. One other thing, I watched the Austin Powers movies before this. So when when he did the reveal, I couldn't help but think Dr. Evil. And I know this is what inspired Dr. Evil, but like that's almost what I was thinking when I saw his face. I'm like, Dr. Evil? Like, yeah, I just couldn't help but think that. Like, I don't know, guys. Like, I do like this Blofeld, but it's not my favorite, and I just wish it was a little bit more consistent. One other thing I thought that was kind of silly about Blofeld was the cat. Like, I know that's his thing that, he strokes the cat and it's supposed to make him look all sinister, but like, after we reveal his face, like, it just seems kind of silly and gimmicky for him to just be holding the cat the entire time. Like, and especially because, like, if you pay attention, the cat is not, like, 100% trained. And, like, you could see the cat's kind of freaking out when a bunch of explosions and stuff are happening. So it's like you could feel that, Pleasance was, like, struggling to keep the cat still. And so it made it just look kind of silly. And especially because, like, when he's threatening other people's lives and, holding Bond to gunpoint with the cat in his arms. It just made him look a little silly. Like, just put the cat down and do what you gotta do. So, it's one of the things I thought was kind of silly, but it's okay, I guess. Talking about the overall layer of Spectre, it's one of the best looking evil layers I have seen. It's just really, it's gorgeous. It's huge. It's atmospheric. Um, I believe it's like a mix of practical sets and models, and it all looked really good. I liked it. It's pretty cool, and it helped with make the final climax action set piece more exciting because of the setting. And I thought, yeah, it's just a really cool setting. And I also like getting into the climax. I did like the fight between the ninjas and the Spectre agents. I thought that was really cool. It was a huge bombastic action set pieces with explosions and people fighting with swords and guns, and once again really crazy, but I'm digging it the whole way through. And one thing I'm glad about in this movie is that they didn't kill Blofeld, because they could have easily have killed Blofeld in this movie. After showing the big reveal and the first ever, face-to-face confrontation between Bond and Blofeld, they could have easily just killed him and that would have been the end. But he ended up getting away at the end, and we could possibly see more of him. So I'm glad they did that, because like in the previous movies, they feel the need to kill off the characters real quickly, and I feel like they could have used them more in other movies. Biggest example for me is Dr. No. I wish they didn't kill him off so quickly, because I thought he was an interesting character. And even Goldfinger to an extent. I kind of wish he didn't die, but I was more okay with it in that movie. But yeah, I'm glad in this one they actually kept him alive. But yeah, I think overall that's my thoughts on You Only Live Twice. I had a good time with this movie. I enjoyed it. No, this is not as good as Goldfinger, but I did enjoy this more than Dr. No and From Russia with Love and Thunderball. And yes, I can nitpick so many things with the plot and how things are structured and how dumb certain plot points are, and how over the top the set pieces and character performances are. But you know what? I enjoyed how over the top the performances are. I enjoyed how creative the action set pieces are, and I liked how unpredictable it was in certain moments. Most of that stuff came around for me. Yeah, it was hit or miss, but like I said, most of the hits, it was mostly hits for me. So I had a good time with this movie. It's dumb fun. I can turn my brain off with this film. So overall, I will give You Only Live Twice a 5.5 out of 7. Yeah, I enjoyed it. It was solid. But that's how I feel about You Only Live Twice. What did you guys think about it? Did you guys love it? Did you guys hate it? Did you guys think it was okay? Comment below and let me know. So, I heard behind the scenes that Sean Connery wanted this to be his last Bond film. He felt like he was getting tired of the role and he wanted to try new things. And I personally would have been okay with that. I felt like he put his all into the James Bond character. Me personally, I thought he was consistently great in all 5 movies. So, I understand if somebody wants to move on and try new roles. You don't want the Bond character to completely make your career. So, yeah, I would have been completely content if You Only Live Twice was his last movie. I felt like he would have ended off on a solid note. It may not have been the heights of Goldfinger, but still, he ended off on a very entertaining movie. So, I would have been fine if this was his last film. But sadly, it wasn't his last film. He does one more, which we will get to in the near future. But before we get to that, the next Bond film I will be covering is the first and only performance of George Lazenby we will be talking about on Her Majesty's Secret Service. So tune in for that when it comes out. But that's all I have for you Bond fans, and I will see you guys in the next video. Talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.